Let Century Management Solutions get you to your next medical appointment. They specialize in non-emergency medical transportation, connecting patients to care, safety, reliability, and on time. Their advanced technology platform seamlessly coordinates patients, healthcare providers, insurers, and transportation partners all in one powerful network. With over 200 trusted transportation providers, they deliver scalable solutions backed by real-time tracking and complete transparency. Go to SENTRYMS.com.
The Rita Cosby Show
On the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, Mayor Mamdani comments about Rudy Giuliani. Now, Rudy was rushed to a hospital over the weekend. There were reports that he was fighting for his life, that he was on a ventilator. There's word he is doing better. Thank goodness. But this is the best that New York City's Mayor Mamdani can do about the greatest mayor that New York has ever had, Rudy Giuliani. Rudy Giuliani has done so much for this city. He has done so much for this country. This is a guy who definitely earned the title of America's mayor. And Mayor Mamdani, everybody should be saying, we are praying for him. He did such a superb job as mayor. He did such a great job as this and as that. No. And that's because Mayor Mamdani seems to want to go after ICE, and Rudy Giuliani went after the criminals. So I guess they're coming from two different places. But the best that Mayor Mamdani can do is kind of do one of these weird word salads. It's almost like the answers that we heard from, Kamala, and the answers that we heard from all these others. And remember when there was all this sort of like, hey, well, what do you mean by globalize the intifada? And he gave this weird, circular, bizarre answer. Well, a few hours ago, Mayor Mamdani, the current mayor of New York, was asked about the greatest mayor of New York ever, Rudy Giuliani, and his health. And listen to this weird answer. He was asked, what do you think about what he did after 9/11? And it was like gobbledygook central.
Is there anything you'd like to say about his contribution to the city, the fact that he got the city through 9/11?
I think former Mayor Giuliani is someone that we as New Yorkers know well. And he's been a fixture in our city's politics and public life for so many years. And I know that many New Yorkers are concerned by the reports that he's in critical condition. And so we do keep him and his family in our prayers at this time.
We keep him in our prayers. And can we move on? Can we talk about me bashing ICE instead? I mean, that was like as empathetic as like diarrhea. I mean, give me a break. That's incredible. And we, of course, are praying for Rudy Giuliani, our friend and a great fighter and a great law fighter. Somebody who was a prosecutor, went after the mob and did so much. And here is Tom Van Essen. I wanted to play this for you guys because earlier today we talked with Tom Van Essen on Katz and Cosby, and John and I talked with the former FDNY Commissioner, the former Commissioner of the Fire Department of New York. Now, he was right there by Rudy's side during 9/11, and he also knows some of the health problems that Rudy and others got as a result of being there down at Ground Zero. He's also been in touch with Rudy and his family and others and gave us a really powerful update. And we were joined in the studio with Judge Richard Weinberg, and you'll also hear Norman Seabrook. Norman he was head of the Corrections Benevolent Association, all the different corrections workers, a big group, and also knows Tom Van Essen well, as we all do. But it was great to have their insight as well, too, in this conversation. Here's Tom Van Essen giving us the latest on our dear friend, Rudy Giuliani. And, John, joining us now is Tom Van Essen, of course, former fire chief of New York and also business partner of Rudy Giuliani and good friend of Rudy's.
Tom Van Essen, give us some good news.
Oh, I don't know if I've got good news. I have hopeful news. It's optimistic, doing better than he did over the weekend. And knowing him and knowing how strong he is, how much he wants to stay alive, my bet's on Rudy.
Well, I mean, he's one tough guy, and my bet is on Rudy, too.
Yeah, I think that everybody got scared, that pneumonia, when you have lung issues to begin with. Pneumonia can be really scary for us old guys. So that
if you're in the wrong hospital, and you don't have priority, you're going to die.
Well, I'm sure they were looking out for him, and I'm very optimistic that he's going to have a good day today and turn it around.
Now, Tom, just to give us up to speed, he was on a ventilator, right? And that's been taken off, so he's breathing on his own. Can you kind of give us a sense of sort of, because that does sound positive, obviously. Thank goodness. Yes,
it's very positive, but he's not out of the woods. His family just wants everybody to keep praying for him, and hopefully that the progress that he's made today continues, and then he'll be on the road to recovery.
You know, Tom, he had a lot of problems, right, from 9/11, because, and that's something I know you were a big part too, helping the city, as he certainly was America's mayor. Talk about how I think he had some of his lung problems started from that.
He's had some compromised, breathing for quite a while. I'm sure it was attributed to that. He spent an awful lot of time down there. We both did a tremendous amount of time trying to, make the guys feel as good as they could. On that pile was just really difficult work. We'd walk around, tell the guys to be wearing their breathing apparatus. We'd have those little masks on, but we know they didn't do too much good. But they were better than nothing. And what he did down there for months and months, and afterwards the support that he gave to Mayor Bloomberg and everybody else that was continued the search until, I think it was May of 2002, it was remarkable. What he did, the compassion that he showed, the respect that he showed for all those families, the pensions that we helped, that we couldn't give them anything, couldn't give them anything more. What they really wanted was their loved one. And many of the folks, we just couldn't give them that. So the grief and the heartache down there, and at the meetings we went to, the families and stuff, was really, really rough, and took a toll on us. But we felt it was our responsibility, and he did a phenomenal job. Phenomenal job.
Yeah, he sure did. We love Rudy. Norman Seabrook?
Tommy, how you doing, brother? It's good to hear from you.
Norman, good to hear you.
Listen, Tommy, for the audience that doesn't know, Tommy was the labor leader for the Uniformed Firefighters, or Fire Association. And then he became commissioner. And I'm sitting here looking at the picture on the wall that Mr. Catsimatidis has in the studios, a picture of you, Bernie Kerik, George W. Bush, and Rudy Giuliani down at 9/11. And I know for a fact of what this man has done for the city of New York. So all of those that are sitting around and they have their own opinions, they don't know the pensions that you guys helped create for not only firefighters and police officers and correction officers and sanitation officers, and the list goes on. And I just want you to know that we're praying for Rudy. He's not going anywhere. The man is too stubborn to even leave,
Never,
so just please give him our regards, and at least give him my regards as well as the members here in the studio.
No, I listen to you guys all the time, and I know how much you care about him and how much he means to you, because you love the city and you love people that tried to make a difference. I got a letter from President Bush recently, and he said, I don't miss politics, but I really miss working with people like you and Rudy Giuliani.
Wow, that's a blessing.
Wow.
And I got a text at 2:00 in the morning from Andrew Giuliani, and says, please pray for my dad. And I texted that to the Archbishop of America, the Greek Orthodox Archbishop.
Oh, beautiful.
And at 6:00 in the morning, I got a prayer from him. For Rudy.
That's nice.
Beautiful.
It's good stuff.
Yes.
Yeah, Rudy is the best. We love him, and we're all praying for him. He's one of the great heroes out there.
And by the way, Tommy, it's Richard Weinberg. Good to talk to you again, my friend.
Hey, Judge.
So I just want to tell America that you're also one of my heroes. Nobody did a better job than you and Mayor Giuliani and Commissioner Kerik in doing the fight. And our good friend Rudy Washington, too. You're one of America's great heroes, and thank you. God bless you for all your service.
Thank you, Judge. It was just, for me, it was an honor to lead true men that really were heroes. So many people did not have to give it all that day, but they kept going and further up and up, trying to help people that needed it, for strangers. And to me, that's what makes a hero, somebody who's willing to put it all on the line for someone, not the family member, not your wife, not your kids, but strangers. That's a special person.
Well, that's what you and Rudy are, and I'm glad we're going to have both of you guys for a long time.
And I just sent out the picture that Mr. Catsimatidis has in this studio right now. I just sent it to you, Tommy, so you can look for yourself. This is real talk.
Picture.
This is real talk.
I remember that picture.
We love it, Rudy. Please give Rudy our love, big time, Tom. And we love him, and we're hoping to see him soon, healthy and smiling like old times. And thank you very much for everything, Commissioner, for everything you've done too.
Keep us up to date, please, Tommy.
Yeah, please keep us
out.
posted, please.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Beautiful. And listen, let's pray that he makes a full recovery. Rudy is a fighter, and it sounds like he's doing a lot better. At least he's in stable condition. Out of the ventilator. That's a good news. And we love Rudy. And of course, we're hoping that he feels a lot better very, very soon. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Patrick in Indiana on line 3. Go ahead, Patrick, your thoughts.
Yes. The solution for New York is for Tom Homan to deport Mamdani. Now, when you're naturalized into this country, you're supposed to swear allegiance to the Constitution, which is our law, and always has been. But you played the clips on your show that Mamdani said that he endorsed international law. And if President Trump had deported him when he went to the White House, instead of coddling him and condescending, saying, if there are problems, we'll work on them together. If he had just done his duty according to the Constitution and had Tom Homan there and deported him back to Uganda, where he came from, after he denied United States law, and then...
Now, Patrick, hang on. Patrick, I hear what you're saying, because he did say he would abide by international law, especially about going after Netanyahu if Netanyahu came to New York. All right, so he did make these crazy comments, which, and I agree with you, they are insane, and I think they're inappropriate for anybody, especially somebody who's the mayor. And some of his other comments, the globalize, the intifada, and he continues to coddle these pro-Hamas, anti-Israel protesters. But, I mean, you understand, he was elected. And so given that he was duly elected and in that position, the only way he's going to go right now, if they're not going after some of these other people, they're not going to go after Mayor Mamdani. But I think they can affect him by federal funds. They cannot reward some of his pet projects and things that he wants to do. And of course, we want the best for New York. That's the bottom line. And that's why Trump was nice to him. He's like, okay, sly like a fox. I'm going to just kind of see who this guy is. I'm going to meet him. It doesn't matter who he is, even if he's, completely in a different philosophical place than I am. I'm still going to meet him. I'm going to at least do that. He is the mayor of New York, and I want the best for my hometown. That's what he's saying. And we all want the best for New York. There's no doubt about it. But also, President Trump, you could tell he's getting really sick of him. And he's getting really sick of his anti-ICE rhetoric, his anti-cooperation. His comments are just more and more reprehensible. He's uninspiring of the police. I think a lot of people thought, well, maybe he's showboating during the campaign. I didn't think he was showboating. And Patrick, I always thought, like you, that he is a true believer. I've always thought that he wasn't showboating because he's a member of the Democratic Socialists of America. And most of those people are, quote, true believers in what they believe. And it's all anti-Israel. It's anti-police. It's anti-this. It's anti-that. He was telegraphing who he was. But the bottom line is he was elected. So darn well it's not like Tom Homan's going to say, hey, the Oval Office door is over here. And it turns out to be the paddy wagon instead. That ain't going to happen. What could happen is Bruce Blakeman gets elected, and that could change everything. And then he could certainly say, you know what, like you said, maybe these comments are unfit. He's not following through with federal law. But sadly, there are a number of Mamdanis across the country. That's the problem. That the problem is there are multiple Mamdanis out there tonight. And that's the problem right now. It's not just one. You got Katie Wilson in Seattle. You got some of these DAs like Bragg in New York, and you got Larry Krasner in Philly and all these others. They are so soft on crime and so soft on revolving door, and they don't seem to care. And people need to wake up and start voting with purpose and not say, oh, why is this happening? Why is this happening? And these like students that are romanticizing, thinking that it's nice to live in a world where nobody's held accountable for their crimes. Not only is that unrealistic, it is downright dangerous, and somebody needs to wake these students up too. But Patrick, in the meantime, we're stuck with him. But if Bruce Blakeman gets elected, maybe on day one he could say, you know what, maybe we need a new mayor. 1-800-848-9222, and we'll continue with your calls, everybody, after the break here on The Rita Cosby Show.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Roger Stone here. Every day you wait, your money loses value, but gold and silver don't follow those same rules. American Sovereign Bullion gives you access to a nationwide wholesaler network, helping you secure aggressive pricing on real physical metals. Call 844-272-2428 now to get your free gold and silver guide to learn how to protect your wealth with physical gold and silver, delivered right to your door or with a gold IRA. Visit asbgold.com. That's asbgold.com for your free gold and silver guide today.
This is the Rita Cosby Show.
Well, no easy love. It should be tough love on those who are committing crimes in our country. And these people who are here illegally or are here at the blessing of America, because I believe it's a blessing to be an American citizen. If they don't love this country, I'm sorry, get out. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go to Nick in Virginia, line 5. Go ahead, Nick.
Good evening, Rita. I got one for you can't make this up file. Okay. A Soros-funded Commonwealth attorney in Fairfax County, Virginia, Steve Descano, who released the illegal from Sierra Leone after this guy had like 30 crimes and serious crimes. And he had a removal order to be deported from 2020, since 2020. And he's the guy that stabbed Stephanie Minter to death.
That's right, that horrible crime. And what did he do? What did Steve Descano do?
Well, he made a statement. He said, and it was taken down.
What did he say?
He said that it's not fair to illegals who commit the same crimes as Americans because they get deported.
Oh, my goodness. So they shouldn't be charged with them because we could say, see ya.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
Rita Cosby is on. Breaking news.
And tonight on the Rita Cosby Show, an incident unfolded on the National Mall right there in Washington, D.C., very close to the White House just a few hours ago, when a man fled officers. They saw some suspicious activity. They saw that he had what looked like a gun. And then he fired at them, and the agents returned fire, wounding him. He is now taken in custody at a hospital. And he also apparently, according to authorities, fired on a bystander, a 15-year-old bystander. Luckily, the bystander is expected to be okay. No Secret Service agents were hurt, and officials are looking to see if there was any connection with the fact that J.D. Vance, the vice president's motorcade, was passing by just a little bit before, or the fact that the guy was so close indeed to the White House. Was he planning something against President Trump? Boy, is this scary, especially with all of the recent assassination attempts against President Trump. And one of the biggest doozies that I think I've heard, I actually thought it was like, when I first heard it, I thought, no, this can't be true. There was a judge who today, a federal magistrate in Washington, D.C., which has, I guess, the same judicial system as like an Alvin Bragg type, right? But this judge came out and apologized to the would-be assassin, Cole Allen. That is the guy who is accused of planning to open fire on the President of the United States and his cabinet and anybody else in the room there at the White House Correspondents' Dinner. Just a little bit over a week ago. I can't believe it's only been a week. It feels like a long time. So much happens in the news world, but we certainly can't forget because that was a major threat against the president. And you see the footage, you see how crazy this guy is, you see his manifesto, and yet they put this guy in solitary confinement because, according to his manifesto, he was ready to never come back. He was ready to go on a one-way trip, which is why it was so frightening. And he thought he might not be alive after the shooting. He put this manifesto out to his family saying, I'm so sorry. Essentially, I'm gone. So the guy clearly, obviously has suicidal tendencies. He's obviously has a screw loose to plan to do this attack. And so they put him in solitary confinement, which makes a lot of sense to have him protect against himself in a padded room. That's actually a nice thing. That's the nicest thing that the guy deserves. Or also so he doesn't get attacked by other inmates because he's a pretty famous guy now as in terms of a, accused assassin. So what happens? His attorneys accuse the system and says, oh, you guys are overreaching. This is not nice to keep him in solitary confinement for a week. This lovely, sweet, kind man deserves better. And what happens? This pathetic judge, Judge Zia Farik, is accused of basically going soft on this guy. And he doesn't even have to be accused. He did. He apologized to Cole Allen, saying, I am just so sorry that we did that to you. You deserve better. You deserve better? He deserves a hell of a lot worse, in my mind. But here's a little bit of the reporting of this judge actually apologizing to this accused would-be assassin and what has happened to our judges. Boy, are they part of the judicial revolving door. Listen to this pathetic judge. Here is a Fox News report about him.
Judge Zia Farik apologized to suspect Cole Allen for the treatment he's received so far while he's been behind bars. He's been put on suicide watch by the Department of Corrections, and the judge was asking why. An attorney for the government said that he was put on suicide watch because he told FBI agents the night of the White House Correspondents' Dinner attack that he didn't expect to survive, and his language suggested that he really was not expecting to survive his trip to Washington, D.C., and the ultimate incident where he allegedly showed up with a weapon to try and assassinate President Trump. He's been charged with that crime, but the judge very concerned about his constitutional rights, saying the defendant has requested a Bible, has requested meetings with his legal team, and that has not been allowed. He's been put in restrictive 24-hour lockup with no windows in a padded room without an opportunity to get out for recreation. And so the judge making it clear to the Department of Corrections that he wants answers by tomorrow morning about exactly what the housing determination will be made for the suspect in this case, out of grave concern about his constitutional rights, and that apology issued near the end of the hearing. And so quite a moment just moments ago in federal court. Bottom line, the Department of Corrections said they wanted to make sure that he survived, that this is a high-profile case, and all involved acknowledged it is a high-profile case. But again, the judge concerned about the treatment he's gotten since he was arrested after the White House Correspondents' Dinner shooting incident. Sandra, back to you.
A lot of people might be shocked by that.
The judge apologized to this guy who's a killer, who, if he had gotten another couple yards, would have sprayed the whole audience in the Correspondents' Dinner. I mean, would have just sprayed him and killed God knows how many, and then would have marched up and taken a shot over the whole audience at the president. And we're apologizing to this guy? I don't get that.
Seems more concerned about his constitutional rights in some cases than others.
Constitutional rights? Well, all right.
I agree. That was Larry Kudlow. I mean, he's correct. I mean, you got to be kidding me. Why are we worried about, quote, this guy's constitutional rights? Obviously, we want to care about constitutional rights, but the fact that we put him in a location like a padded cell for his own safety, that's a problem. Boy, are things nuts. The world is upside down. 1-800-848-9222. By the way, Ron DeSantis, the Florida governor, is tonight calling liberal mayors Realtor of the Year, including Zoran Mamdani, saying it's the best advertisement possible because he is bringing so many people to come down and fleeing to the free state of Florida. And more, when you look at all the stuff that's going on, especially when it comes down to everything tied to taxes and crime and everything else, he says these political leaders, the Democrats, are pushing out wealthy taxpayers, the people who contribute the most, and they are fleeing to places like Florida. No doubt. I think he's right, and that's a sad testament to these blue city leaders. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And you are listening to The Rita Cosby Show. Let's go to Shia in Muncie on line 1. Go ahead, Shia.
Yes, the funny thing is that they are protesting on ICE and on this kind of thing. I just came from Canada as a visitor. I just want to get a driver's license. I wasn't able to get it in New York, even with a Democratic state. But they're protecting the criminals. They're protecting people there doing crime, and this is the only thing they're protecting, not people to try to go on with their life, and maybe they're not don't have a social security and not being a citizen or something like this. But they're fighting for criminals. They're not fighting for people's humanity.
Shia, sorry to interrupt you. I just want to make sure you were saying you tried to get in Canada a license. Did you?
No, in New York. I was in New York, so I want to get to New York, but I wasn't able to get it because I don't have a social security.
Okay, so they gave you a hard time in New York, and you're saying that obviously with the others, it's like come one, come all.
That's it. What I mean to say, they are protecting only criminals, but they're not fighting for humanity. They're fighting for criminals.
Yeah, and when you hear Mayor Mamdani going after ICE, and it's an interesting, even on voting. I remember hearing last week where we were talking with Tom Fitton of Judicial Watch. He was saying that I think it's in the last 2 years that about 1 million people have been found to be improperly on the voting rolls. So they seem to let the people that scam get away with it for a long time, at least until Judicial Watch came in. And yet good people like you, you're right. It's like the world's upside down. They make it tough. Those who want to contribute taxes in a big way, they make it tougher and tougher and tougher. They're disincentivizing. And no wonder that Governor DeSantis is saying, come on down to the great state of Florida because people are just fed up. Shia, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Let's go to Max in Manhattan. Max, you're here on the Rita Cosby Show. Go ahead.
Thank you, Rita, for taking my call. You mentioned the professor at Virginia Tech, the Virginia Tech professor who was talking about Americans taking over Arab lands.
This guy, by the way, and I just want to tell everybody his name is Mohammed Abdu, and he has a thing called Death to the Academy. And let me play this again, and then, Max, I'll get you to comment because I just want to make sure everybody heard it. This is cut 13, and this is Mohammed Abdul. He's speaking at Virginia Tech, and here's what he had to say, Max.
We are in a war, a racial religious war since 1492, as I'll elucidate in a little while. But we are in a battle for hearts and minds and souls, sir. This is Virginia Tech. This is the context of which we're speaking. 300,000 acres of stolen land, a revenue raised of 285,000 from, in terms of interest from this land. This is the context. This American entity that is about to celebrate, well, it's more than 250 years, but is about to celebrate its 250th anniversary. I don't think it should see its 250th anniversary, but that is the point. And so when we say death to America, we mean, and loud and clear, a total end to U.S. empire. The destruction of this crusading settler colony, her entire project, her capacity to meddle and intervene in other nations, to wage war, to engage in coups, to engage in interventions, to continue her ongoing genocide, for anti-blackness, for anti-indigenous founding and structure, right here where we are. It means a reckoning. It means indigenous sovereignty. It means black self-determination. It means that we would be engaged in different ways of life, according to indigenous traditions and spiritualities, and ways of living with the land and not on it.
Wow. That guy definitely has a screw loose, and he is speaking to college students in a Death to America, essentially, group. It's called Death to the Academy with a K. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. What is wrong with our educational institutions like Virginia Tech that would allow this former Columbia professor to go out there and express support for terror groups, blast America, essentially say America is evil, that America, this idea of America, like, oh, to America, we mean loud and clear. We need an end to the empire, death to America. I mean, what person would ever say that? And this guy is still in the United States. Why are we not going after him? I mean, to me, this is a classic example. They should throw the book at this guy and give him a ticket and say, you can never enter this country again. And what kind of group? Why are they not investigating, I hate to say, Virginia Tech? That's what's stunning. That if you look at last year on college campuses, very few conservatives ever spoke on college campuses. And in fact, Max, stick with me. I want to play this also. This is cut 12. This is Joe Concha, because we talked with him earlier, and he had some interesting statistics on the kind of people that college campuses invite every year.
It truly is, disturbing is the only words that you could put here. I mean, Virginia Tech, that's down in like Southern Virginia. That's supposed to be, kind of a conservative area. And sure enough, this is the type of people that they're inviting to speak at their commencement speeches. And again, I talked about this on the Big Weekend show on Fox over the weekend. The stats are overwhelming. You're talking about 63 liberals were invited to speak at commencement speeches in 2025. You know how many conservatives? Only 6. So you're talking about 10-to-1 ratio as far as conservatives versus liberals. Just even it out, or just, I don't know, don't have these speeches at all. I mean, University of Maryland, where I went, we had Kermit the Frog speak there last year. That's fine. I'll take Kermit all day long.
By the way, I would love to hear Kermit speak. Compared to that guy, he's got a lot more wisdom, and he's green. It's great being green. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let's go back to Max in Manhattan. Sorry, Max, but I wanted everybody to play and hear this reprehensible individual named Mohammed Abdu, who actually was a professor at Columbia and now is spewing his hate across the country.
No, I'm glad you played it, Rita. But this guy from Virginia Tech, as well as Mamdani, you have a lot of these guys who it's not just them that's speaking when we hear them. It's the Muslim Brotherhood who's backing them up. It's CARE that's backing them up. And by the way, this isn't me just giving my opinion. The Post reported on this, that Mamdani has ties to CARE and to the Muslim Brotherhood. So that would, just investigating that would be one step forward where Bruce Blakeman could get him kicked out of his position.
Do you think if Bruce got elected, he would do it?
I don't know. I think he jumps around the subject. He doesn't really confront this subject. If enough of us are screaming, I think he would.
Yeah, first he has to obviously get elected first, but then that's an option. Go ahead, Max.
Now we also have one of the big funders who's tied with the Muslim Brotherhood, and that's Alexander Soros, George Soros' son. And let's not forget that he's married to Anthony Weiner's ex-wife. So talk about some sort of political incest. You got it right there.
Yeah, there's a lot of tangled webs there. And you're right. And the other name, too, that you didn't mention, Max, is a guy named Neville Roy Singham. And that's a guy who is now living, and he's an American, and he's living over there in China. And there are many reports that he's tied to a lot of these anti-sort of America groups or protests that we've seen around the country. And you have to wonder, because he's living in China, is it Chinese money too? So there's a lot of questions. Max, thank you. Great points, and certainly worth looking at. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-9222. And now, support our heroes, everybody.
The Rita Cosby Show presents Support Our Heroes.
And everyone, this is the Tunnel to Towers Foundation Support Our Heroes segment with a really powerful story from Fort Lauderdale, Florida, where a red carpet celebration was held for World War II veteran Harold Sotsky, who turned 104 years old on Sunday. He was born in Washington, D.C. in 1922. He is one of 7 kids, and the veteran eventually enlisted in the U.S. Coast Guard and served tirelessly during World War II from 1942 to 1945, helping to transport troops and wounded civilians. Sotsky said at the event, "I was lucky to come home. I can't say enough about the veterans and all they do." By the way, 2 days after returning home from World War II, Harold tied the knot with the love of his life, a woman named Doris, and the pair were married for over 50 years. How beautiful is that? And bravo, of course, to the members of the Greatest Generation and their families. And everybody, help America to never, ever forget. Donate just $11 a month to make a huge difference in their lives. Help America's heroes and also help their families. The Talented Towers Foundation does so much to honor America's military and first responders. Be sure to check out the Tunnel to Towers Foundation. They are terrific at T2T.org. That's T, the number 2, T.org.
The Rita Cosby Show
on the Red Apple Podcast Network.
It's the Rita Cosby Show.
And you know it's always a great day when the radio is on and you're tuned in to the Rita Cosby Show. Let's go to Sal in New Jersey, line 5. Go ahead, Sal, your thoughts.
Hello, Rita. Rita, this Nigerian man in Brooklyn was only the tip of the iceberg. President Trump and the authorities ought to let Tom Homan and ICE go right into Brooklyn, all throughout New York City, and round up all these illegals and nip it in the bud before it gets out of hand. Because we're going to get to the point where it's going to be too late. We got to stop it before it gets out of hand.
Sal, what did you think of what Larry said earlier in the show? And I thought it was a good idea. Larry from Brooklyn brought up, why not federally charge these people for impeding ICE agents? I mean, blocking the entrance and exits of a hospital ER. I mean, it doesn't get worse than that. I actually, what do you think? Yes or no? I think it's a good idea.
Absolutely. It's a fantastic idea.
Yep, I agree. Throw the book at them. You can't go soft on these people. And I'm worried it may already be a little too late, Sal. I agree.
Thanks for listening to The Rita Cosby Show. You can hear The Rita Cosby Show weeknights at 10 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
The Marine Toys for Tots foster care program is bringing hope to children who need it most. Every 2 minutes, a child enters foster care, often with only a small bag of belongings. More than 400,000 children face trauma and uncertainty, many before age 8. This May, during Foster Care Awareness Month, Toys for Tots is creating Room for Joy. In 2025, nearly 375,000 children received comfort through toys, books, and essentials, reminding them they are not alone. Donate now and change a child's life.